Hello everyone, my name is Christian. Welcome back to Tekpon. Today our guest is Simon, the CEO and founder at Blox. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Please tell us, what is Blox?
Yeah, so Blox is a new platform we're building. We're on a mission to help leaders that are in business to reimagine how they make decisions today. Most big decisions today are made using either gut feel and intuition, or for things that are a bit more complex with a few more factors involved, most of us turn to a spreadsheet. But spreadsheets can be really hard to use, and there are lots of leaders who are not spreadsheets experts, they're not finance experts. So with Blox, you'll be able to build a financial model to help you make a great decision, to understand the factors that impact that decision, and be bold, be brave, but without having to spend hours on YouTube, on Google, figuring this stuff out. That's what we're doing with Blox.
Nice. What are the best features?
So it's financial modeling. So what we focus on is making it really easy for leaders. So you jump into a model that you build. Within there, you've got different blocks that help you with a decision. So you might have a model which is for a full financial model, and so you'd have a block in there for subscription revenue planning if you're a SaaS company, or revenue planning. Maybe you're an agency and you're trying to do some project modeling. So you can have different blocks, and it's we guide a user through the process of drawing out assumptions from their head. So it's very easy to throw in assumptions. A lot of financial models, when you're planning for the future, you're throwing in growth assumptions. How much am I going to grow? How many new customers am I going to get every period? How will my price change over time? So we make it really easy for a leader to plug in those assumptions into the model, and then we calculate everything from there. We have a really nice summary at the end, so they can understand the plan. They can drag sliders around to see the sensitivity, see what would happen if they increase prices, decrease prices, so they can really understand what's going to happen. Then the other thing we're really excited about is we're working a lot with AI right now to actually configure and tailor a model to a customer to take a lot of the time out of onboarding for new customers. So as soon as we have somebody's website, we're able to tailor a financial model just for them without them having to spend hours building it from scratch, etc., etc.
Awesome. And what is the pricing for Blox?
Yeah, so we have a pricing on our website. So we'll have a free offering. So we've launched our free offering already. It's available. It's an alternative to Excel, so we're trying to make the entry level low friction. Everyone can come in, everyone can try it, and then pricing starts from as little as £13 per user per month, or £13 pounds, $15 per user per month, and scales up. So it depends what features you need. We have different pricing tiers. So if you have larger teams, if you need integration, those are the sorts of things. If you need lots of scenarios, those are the things that affect the pricing.
What are the integrations that you offer?
Yeah, so we're working on integrations right now to typical accounting systems. Okay. So you can source your data from Xero, from QuickBooks, from Sage. For sales planning, you might be sourcing your data from a CRM like HubSpot, Salesforce, etc. And a variety of other tools like Chart. We work with, at the moment, we're working with a lot of SaaS companies, so looking at ChartMogul and some other integrations too.
Nice. And who exactly can use your product?
So we're focusing right now on making financial modeling easy for leaders. So any leader who has a big decision to make. So you might be a leader thinking about new pricing. You might be thinking about fundraising, and you want to know, how much should I raise? How much runway do I have right now? You might have a big partnership coming up. You might have a real complex project proposal to put together. So we can help in lots of different ways. On our website, we have different models that you can pull down, and you can use those models for different use cases that you have. And we've got more and more coming all the time. So yeah, the user, we're tailoring it. We're making it available for leaders, but it also is very, very useful for finance people as well. So lots of finance people are spending hours, days, sometimes their entire career is devoted to building financial models in Excel.
Oh.
And so those people as well could use Blox to support the business. So they could be building their models in Blox, and then getting their business leaders involved in plugging in assumptions, going through building out different scenarios in there as well. So finance teams or leaders.
Okay, it makes sense. Do you have any success stories that you can share?
Yeah. So we're quite early in our journey. We just started last year. So we're still onboarding early customers right now. We just opened up the product, and we ran a successful beta last year with some early pilot customers. We opened up the product in February this year. So we're onboarding customers. We've got some fantastic success stories already. Recently, a customer was offered the chance for some additional funding, but the investor wanted to see what they would do with that funding. So they wanted a pretty quick turnaround. So they wanted to see what will they do with this increased funding, how will they spend it, and what will it mean for increased. Ultimately, they wanted to see an increased revenue or an increased long-term growth potential based on the extra investment that they were taking on. So they were able to jump into Blox, use one of our models, very easily tailor it, just plug in assumptions around additional hiring that they would do with that investment, additional spend on marketing, and what that would mean for increased revenue growth over time. Really straightforward. So that was very successful. I've got another company. They're saving 18 hours a month on what they were previously doing with manual spreadsheets. There's a couple there.
Yeah, so 18 hours. Well, it's a lot. How competitive is this space? Are you the first company to solve this?
Yeah, so there are lots of other players in the broader space. So my background is actually I've worked in finance. I was previously an accountant. I found accounting to be quite rigid, very structured. Month end is every month. I found it not. It wasn't for me. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
So what I loved was helping leaders make decisions by understanding the data that's in front of them. And for a long time, I was the guy that they would turn to when they needed some spreadsheet, some data turned, twisted, analyzed, aggregated. And so that's how I kind of started out my career and got into this space of decision analytics space, financial planning and modeling space. So you've got a lot of players that started out as, typical enterprise finance planning software. So you've got some players like SAP, Oracle, IBM. They have financial planning products. They're very, very complex, very hard to use. You have some newer tools that were born in the cloud, like the company I worked for a long time called Anaplan. That was very successful. And then you have some newer tools that are starting to be a bit easier and a bit more self-serve. Most of them focus on finance teams. And so they build the features that finance teams need. And so what we heard when we did our research was there was nothing that was really easy for a leader to use and really easy and quick for them to use in the moment when they have a big decision to make. Most people still turn to a spreadsheet. And so that's the key alternative. That's the change in behavior that we're planning to drive as we bring Blox to the market. People will see, okay, there's this really fantastic tool. It's quicker, it's faster, it's easier than a spreadsheet. I don't have to remember where to put dollars in my formulas. I don't have to remember if I put it before I copy and paste. No more of that random, nonsense.
Yeah.
But it's ingrained in us. We learn. We teach spreadsheet to kids when they're in high school and college and university. So it's a big behavior change that we're driving, but that's the plan.
And have you raised any funding?
We did. We bootstrapped to the early part of our journey last year. We actually started as a spin out of the company where I was working, and an early team of us spun out from there. We bootstrapped the first season, and then we raised venture funding in November. We're just kind of looking to close that round, so we're still in the midst of raising our first pre-seed, looking to make some announcements on that in the next couple of months.
Is it harder for you to find investment right now?
Yeah, it's been interesting. It's been interesting. Let's just say that there are some. We've had success. So we've already closed over 450,000 in of our round. So, and we've got a really good pipeline for the rest. So that's good. I found that because we are pre-revenue, there are lots of early stage venture who say they're early stage venture, but they're really not. They want to see that you're further along your path, kind of a couple of years into your journey, already generating revenue. Which is probably fine in certain cases for us, because the alternative to our product is Excel, which is very feature rich and quite very well known. There are lots of capabilities and features that we have to build before we can get users across en masse. So we're still on our journey. We've launched our free product. We're looking to launch paid plans later in the year, and so that means that certain classes of early stage venture are not available to us. So we've focused more on angels and some investment funds who really understand the space. For us, I was previously involved at a company called Anaplan, very, very successful startup in the planning space, the most successful startup scale up in the planning space. We grew like a rocket ship. We floated on the New York Stock Exchange in 2018, and I had the great privilege to be there in the stock exchange for the IPO. And I
Nice.
am really excited and determined to go back again with Blox. So that's good. And then it was acquired last year for over $10 billion. So really successful outcome. What we did there was focus on serving large enterprise, helping them with really complex financial modeling, planning solutions. And what we're trying to do now is bring a lot of that knowledge and make it really easy for leaders in smaller businesses.
Yeah.
So with that kind of story, with the founder market fit that we have and a fantastic early team, we have been able to raise money. But yeah, it's a challenging environment. I wasn't raising a couple of years ago, but I hear it's very different.
Were you a founding member at the previous company?
I was an early employee, so I joined just after they'd raised a big round, and they were just launching a European office. So I wasn't on the founding team, but yeah, big part of the journey there. I was there for over 8 years, nearly 8 years. Yeah.
Did they give you shares or any participation in the company?
Yeah, and I really believe in that too. I think it makes a big difference for
Absolutely.
If you're in a company, and even if you own just a few shares and you don't really know what they're going to be worth, it changes behavior, and I really believe in that. So we've set that up here at Blox from the beginning.
Nice.
Make sure that everybody is involved in some way. It's obviously hard to work out what that means, but yeah, ultimately that was really fantastic for me in the previous company, and was a big part of how we were able to bootstrap, how I'm able to build this business, not take a salary for a year, all these things that you have to do as an early stage founder.
Lovely story. How big is your current team?
So we're a team of 11 right now. So we've got different roles for sales and marketing, software development, and R&D and finance. So yeah, so we're about 11, based between the UK and India.
And you already said you have found a market fit, but do you think you found product market fit?
Oh, we're still on our journey. We're still on our journey. It'll be a while. So we've got some fantastic early traction with the users coming on board. Getting great feedback. We're iterating the product every week. We're launching new features and adjustments to improve the onboarding, improve activation and engagement with users. So we're still on our journey. It's part of the plan. So we know it's going to take a while to dial in the product. So we're in this season dialing in the product. And the great thing is what we're able to do in this season is we're speaking to people, understanding what they need. And I'm big on problem solving. So we're chatting to people. We're not trying to sell them stuff yet. We're just trying to understand their pain points and their problems. And then we're here in this season, we're investing and offering to help anyone with a financial modeling problem or some financial plan or a big decision. I was chatting to someone last week who's thinking about selling this business that he's been working on for years and years. And he's just trying to figure out, okay, what kind of valuation should I be looking for? I still think I could grow this to this level by the end of next year. And, I don't want to give away all of that growth and, just to somebody else who's going to, so he wants to model that out. So, some of these things are hard. I just love when I can meet someone like that. I can help understand their problem. I can help them. And we can take all that learning and we can throw it back into the product. So yeah, we're on our way to product market fit. We've got a fantastic early engagement, but the monetization piece is still planned for the future. Yeah.
That's a fantastic mindset. I really appreciate it. What has been your biggest challenge since starting Blox?
Good one. So I didn't really, I suppose what I had was confidence that myself, I'm somebody who's good at finding a way and figuring it out, and I have a decent amount of energy and drive to go and tackle anything that's in the way. We had a couple of really fantastic founding team members, which is great. So my background is more in product and accounting, so I really understand this space, this planning domain. I've done product management, worked with engineers, designers to build products. I've done customer success before, so actually onboarding new customers. So the biggest challenges for me have been fundraising, and which was just a whole new space. I'd never been involved in fundraising before, so figuring out how that works, where you go for fundraising, how long you should spend on it, how you can do it in a way that it doesn't take up all your time because you've got a business to build. That's really, that's a challenge. And then sales and marketing, same thing. So I haven't been involved in, creating a website, optimizing for SEO, creating blog content. All of this stuff is brand new for me. So as a product founder, as a sort of, as a person that came to solve this problem, I wasn't expecting just how much work and energy that's taking. I'm now at the point where actually I'm loving it. It's fun. We've got a bit of a pipeline in our CRM. We're kind of moving things through from different stages. It's a rush. It's a rush when you try and sort of work these things through, get kind of take leads, and especially we're not monetized right now, but we're treating it like we are. So we're working with people. We're trying to get them through to the point of decision. Do they go with us? Yes, no. So I'm loving that. It's fun. It's been a challenge though. It's been a lot of learning.
But it seems you're doing great with the fundraising and both sales and marketing.
Yeah, absolutely. We're trying hard. Yeah, we're working.
Yeah, and I'd love to hear your vision for Blox for the next years. Yeah.
So we really believe that for us, it's really about unlocking ambition. And so the founding story, there were two real parts of it, but one of the the origin story of Blox for me for solving this problem was during COVID. I was volunteering and I got involved in driving food parcels around my city for people that were sheltering in place.
Nice.
And which was fun. And I just threw my name into some group that needed help, and so I ended up driving around. I met the charity that were arranging it. They don't do food deliveries normally, but they were just a charity. They had people that needed help, and so they said, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's just figure it out. Let's run food deliveries." And they had to organize all that food collection, packaging, drivers. They had massive effort, and so I got connected with the charity. When they found out I worked in accounting and I was in technology, they were like, "You're my new best friend. Please come and help us with our back office, because we have so much to do and we have a bit of a system." But they get grants, and when they report on their grants, they have to add up the kind of numbers. They have to have a projection about how they're going to spend the grant. And they were really struggling with that. They were really struggling with reporting back to the grant providers, and it was holding them back from getting more grants that they needed to provide these vital services. And so I came along, and for me, it was really basic. Like they were trying to do these reports, and they would do a filter on a spreadsheet, and then they would manually count the rows instead of doing someone like me. I know I can just write a quick formula, or you can just do certain things. But this was a team. They were really passionate about what they had a heart for, which was befriending and helping elderly people. Yep. But they didn't have all the technology figured out. They didn't necessarily have the finance all figured out. And so that's a real part of what we're trying to do, is make it easier for these types of people who are really passionate about their business. But fundamentally, you shouldn't have to be a spreadsheet or a technical expert to do these things. We can make it easier. We can unlock the ambition of these people, because I really feel, and a lot of people I've met, they get stuck because they can't. They're not willing to make big decisions. They can't get comfortable with a big investment, and so they end up just sort of staying at a certain stage. Whereas if they have the right tools, if they have the tools that can help them understand these decisions, they can go after it. They can go big. They can compete in a global market. So that's really what we're about. We're really focused on financial planning and modeling right now. Ultimately, we love to help out with anything in the finance realm. So really helping leaders in small businesses with the broader finance aspects of how they run their business.
Is this your first startup?
This is the first startup of my own as founder, CEO. So yeah, I've been in senior roles in scale-ups before. I was the chief product officer in a London-based startup for a while. But yeah, this is my first time in this very early stage of birthing something brand new, finding product market fit, etc. So yeah, it's fun. I'm really enjoying it. It's challenging. It's hard to switch off. But I'm loving it, and I have a good support network. I have a wife, 4 kids, so they require me to get offline at a good time every evening, and then I end up just sort of jumping back on the laptop whenever I can to finish off everything. But yeah, I'm loving it. It's
very happy for you. Hope you can find that balance. Yeah, I was curious to know your best piece of advice for a starting founder, or your best learning.
Yeah, my best learning. So yeah, I would say that it's good to focus on the problem, not the solution. So we spent a long time just thinking about this problem, diving in, researching it. And then the other thing that I thought was, because you hear a lot this advice, focus on the problem, not solution. There's a point where you get to where you've got enough info, or you kind of researched it enough, and then you have to make that big, bold decision. You have to be brave, and you have to go after it. And so that's where I would say that a lot of people, they're good at thinking. Some people even take the time to, stop watching Netflix every night and use that time to be productive and research a problem. And you can do that while you're working somewhere else. You can have a little side hustle going on. And then there'll be a point when you're like, and that's, I really felt that with this endeavor. There's a point where you're like, okay, I've learned, I've researched, I'm ready. I've searched internally, and I know this is a problem I'm excited to solve, and I'm willing to put in the work. I'm willing to put in 2 years to really go after this. And now you just have to make that big bold decision, and go after it. And that normally means, taking the step, taking the plunge, quitting your job, or arranging a spin out, or paying for somebody to build you something. So yeah, I think that would be my advice. Is understand the problem, definitely, but there's a point where you've got to make a big bold decision, and when you get to that point, just check, and then don't be afraid to just go for it. Absolutely go after it. Be brave. Trust in yourself. Believe that you can do it. And I think that great things will follow.
Perfectly said. I have one last question for you. What's your favorite SaaS product apart from Blox?
My favorite SaaS product. So I'm here in the UK, and we have a product called Seed Legals.
Okay.
That I am in all the time. So it helps me with my cap. It's a tool for startups. So it helps me with all my legal. It helps me with managing my cap table, with fundraising, with all sorts. I'm not very good at sitting at that kind of paperwork and process, and they've made it really easy. So yeah, I would go with Seed Legals. I think it's been a game changer for me. Yeah. Is
there anything else that you want to mention on today's podcast?
No, thanks very much. I'm a big fan of the podcast. Yeah, Blox is available. It's ready. It's there. You can go to our website, blox.so. You can just hit get started. You can choose one of the models. You can have a play around with it. It's there. We've got customers that are live already, so you can plug in your info and get going. And you can reach out anytime if you want any help. If it's not quite the right shape, if you're struggling with a particular problem, we're here and we're ready to help.
Thank you so much for joining, and thank you for helping the community.
Thanks, Christian. Thanks, everybody. Go after it.